let's talk about this situation right here, because a guy who was on the IR, he's coming off the IR, he's putting his pads on. His name is Justin Jackson. Awesome football player, but we've talked about it. This is one of these athletes out there. I mean, we had a guy by the name of Michael Bennett who was really vocal when it came to progressive ideology, whatnot, really had a head on his shoulders. But this guy has been one of the best. He's been far and above, fam. He knows what he's talking about. He actually supported Jen Perlman as well, which is kind of cool. Yeah, because he's in Los Angeles, and he's supporting somebody in Fort Lauderdale. But he understood how important it was to take a person out like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and he tweeted out, and it finally got AOC to come out of the
Woodworks,
the Democratic fortress of sorts, and give an answer to what's what. And when you saw this yesterday, I heard you go, "Oh hell no!" So let's talk about this.
So AOC responded basically to AOC responded to Justin Jackson's tweet, calling her out if she and the squad did not stand up to Pelosi. This is what he said. He said, if AOC and the squad don't do what Jimmy Dore has suggested and withhold their vote for Pelosi for speakership unless Medicare for All gets brought to the floor for a vote, they will be revealing themselves. Power concedes nothing without a demand. And I want to specify, power concedes nothing without a demand. If you're not going to freaking demand anything, then you're not going to get power. They're not going to give it to you if you don't demand it, right? And she said, problem with this idea is that there isn't enough thought given to step 2. The Dem votes aren't there yet. And with a razor-thin margin, the Dem no's are a greater margin. So you issue threats, hold your vote, and lose. Then what? If you want to know who's opposed, look at a co-sponsor list. So this was a very David Adkins type of answer. And I say that when it comes to, how the Democrats will say, oh, well, yes, there was fraud, but there's nothing we can do about it, or it won't change the vote. Mattered, yeah. So no. Oh yeah. Okay. We want Medicare for all. Yay! Let's cheer. Let's make it our fucking number one issue. Let me wear a mask that says Medicare for all. Let me rebrand myself as like the beacon of Medicare for all. Let me do all this shit. But when it comes down to it in action, they don't have a spine. And so then she continued. She said, in contrast, you can use leverage to push for things that can happen and change lives, i.e. a $15 minimum wage vote in the first 100 days, doable. Elevating longtime progressive champions to important positions of leadership, also doable. That's the community cost to weigh. What the fuck bullshit is she talking about? $15 an hour was already approved by the federal government. It was already approved.
Biden's already been for it. What leverage are you
going to get? Yeah, they're already all for it. Even the corporate Democrats.
Why are they so happy for scraps, Fran?
But in what world do you exist, AOC, where this is an okay response? In what world, progressives, do you not hold her accountable for this bullshit response that if anybody else, not a progressive squad member, let's say Kamala Harris gave you this answer, you would fucking destroy her. But because it's AOC, she gets a pass. No, these people are public servants. Somehow it got twisted to where they became like monarchs for you to like cheer and behold and awe over. But their jobs originally is to literally serve the public. It's in the definition. That's what they're supposed to do. That's not what they're doing. Fam, anything else to say?
Well, I just want to talk about the whole tactic right away. She goes, if you go to the first one real quick, if you could just bring it up so I can take a look at it real quick, because I want to make sure I'm saying right. The problem with this idea is that there isn't enough thought given to step 2. The Dems aren't there yet with a razor-thin margin. The Dems' no's are greater than the margin. So if you issue threats, hold your votes and lose, then what? Okay, let me tell you then what. Now Nancy Pelosi knows that you can form a coalition at any time. You can hold her feet to the fire. It actually does better. Even if you go in it and you do lose, now you have the speaker, air quotes, going, oh my God, they can stand against us at any time.
Yep.
They use their power. I better watch my step. I better make sure I include their progressive ideology on our platform and our legislation. Otherwise, they can do this. And now here's the thing, is that once you do this and people don't support it, now you start making phone calls. Like, why didn't you support AOC and her bid to get us Medicare for all? I'm not going to vote for you. Now you put the pressure on people who don't stand there. Not say, go look at the co-sponsor list. That is so stupid.
That's a cop-out.
It's a cop-out.
And also, not only do you put... so this would be basically just an exposure list, because you would be able to expose who would vote no on Medicare for All in the middle of a pandemic. That is powerful.
Yeah.
And they refuse to even just do that. Now, further, AOC could take that and say, hey, I got the people on my side. If you dare to vote no on this, we're going to occupy the offices of every congressperson, blah, blah, blah. She could do that.
Yeah.
Right now, the time is ripe for it. Why is she backing away? Well, there's only a logical reason for that. She wants to protect her position. She wants to protect whatever committee she's in. She wants to protect any sort of political career she may have, or she's scared. Or one of those two things. She knows what's going on. She knows what this means. This is just some political spinning and maneuvering over here that she's doing. And at the end of the day, the reason I'm going after the squad is because we put him in there to oppose Nancy Pelosi. We didn't put him in there to become friends with her and literally just not oppose her in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
We worked our asses off. A lot of people right now are angry at her. People who literally worked their asses off for her because she's not doing her job.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. If you don't do your job, I'm sorry. Yes, I may like you, but you're a public servant. At the end of the day, you work for the people. The people don't work for you.
Yeah. You know, it's like a lot of election integrity activists and people who, follow Tulsi, obviously, when she put them on blast and saying, hey, I'm sorry about the Project Veritas thing, but ballot harvesting is bad. Why won't you sign on to it right there? So many people refer to that, like, why didn't she say anything? Why didn't they do anything? You use the same tactic, AOC. You tell this congressman, Max Goldman, or whoever you want to tell, hey, listen, you sign on for Medicare for All right now. You're a Democrat. Come with us. Why won't you sign on? If they remain silent, they're outed. If they respond back negatively, they're outed. You can use your power and swing it any way you want. That's the leverage you have. You use that leverage. You put people on. If you are really for Medicare for All, you put people in your party on blast who don't stand there, and you
then
put
they
it
get
publicly
voted
on
out.
blast.
And then you tell them, hey, go vote them out. Vote somebody in but that's not happening because they can't even do that. They don't even have the spine to do that. So let me read Jimmy Dore's tweet. He said, 100% gaslighting. Kamala Harris co-sponsored Bernie's Medicare for All bill too. Voting is real. The people want to vote. You won't do anything to make this happen. You are revealing that you never ever intended to use your leverage to fight for Medicare for All or cross, quote, Mama Bear. And I mean, that's 100% true. And I wanted to read a couple others. I have mine. Look, quote, don't try because we don't have the votes. What a good establishment talking point excuse. That means that they don't have a goddamn spine to oppose the gatekeeper in their party. And she is a gatekeeper, by the way. They're here for you to worship them, not to be public servants. Disgusting piece of shit, slime take. And it is. Because you know why I'm so angry? Because people are dying. People don't have health care. At minimum, they should have health care. They should have much more. They should have a UBI. They should have had a UBI now for months. We've received a $1,200 check. Need I remind you? And right now, they're discussing that $1,200 might be too much and trying to cut it down to $600. What kind of bullshit is that? Like, I am starting to read people's emails coming in, people's stories, and this is why I'm so angry, because these people are suffering every single fucking day. And
thank you guys for those who have responded to that. There's some awesome stuff coming in.
It's amazing.
So, yeah.
And sad at the same time.
It is.
Even our man Aaron Matei jumped in. He said, how does losing a vote on Medicare for All take away your leverage to push for things that can happen? You can still push for those things. And who are the longtime progressive champions who stand a chance to be elevated to these important positions of leadership? Exactly. If you show all the people who are anti-Medicare for All, then you can push the people who are going to lead and take charge on this. But not a single one of them is willing to do that. What's the point of the Progressive Caucus, I ask?
I don't know.
If and all these people doing all these work, saying, oh, you guys don't get what you're talking about. You don't understand politics.
I think their job is to gaslight the people.
This is like the Progressive Caucus. We're getting more Bernie Krats. What the hell is the point if not a single one of these fucking people decide that they're going to say, we're going to stand up to Nancy Pelosi. We're going to use, we may not have our numbers physically in Congress, but you know what we have? We have the people. And we're going to combine our forces with the people, and we're going to make this happen for the people. Why is that so hard to do? I just don't understand. And what's the point then of electing progressives? What's the point of you guys saying, well, you should support Nina Turner, blah, blah, blah. As a Democrat, When what are the chances of her not doing the same thing? I don't know. Honestly. What are the chances of her not being crippled by the Democratic Party? What are the chances of her not being cheated by the Democratic Party? This is not a joke.
Yeah. I mean, I think the purpose of the Progressive Caucus and the progressives in Congress is to gaslight the people, to sheep herd them into the Democratic Party. I mean, they haven't done anything since they've gotten there. I mean, what have they really done? A bunch of just yay virtue signaling stuff. I mean, everybody talks about AOC's freaking Twitch bill. I mean, is that I mean, really, that's what you're coming at me, that she wanted to take down advertisements from Twitch?
Every congressperson has votes that I'm just like, what? Like I'm like, why are you doing this?
And the Democratic Party is the worst. The Democratic Party is just like they give you nothing. No, you might disagree with a lot of the Republican ideology, and most of the Republican establishment stinks too as well. But at least you got these rogue freaking congressmen out there that are going to fight for freedom of speech or going to fight for a free press and stuff like that. I mean, what do we have on the left right now? And not for nothing.
And that's sad.
A lot of us have been told there's the door. If you care about certain things, if you don't care about these are the two items that we care about. Medicare for all and a Green New Deal, and you can't even move the needle.
They don't care
on
about
that and a
though.
Pandemic.
They don't care
but
about
that's
that.
What they tell you.
Yeah, they're showing you that they don't care about
and they
that.
Can't even move the needle on that. Useless.
And so people retort, well, Fiorella, you think AOC has so much power? Like, she doesn't have any power. Like, she's just one congresswoman. Do you expect her to fix everything? On why she's not standing for Pelosi, right? They make excuses. But in the same breath, they're also pushing us to take over the Democratic Party at the same time. So that doesn't make sense. If we put people in Congress and they don't bring power to the people, which is their job, to voice your concerns, then what the hell is the point? That's all I want to say. Like, what the hell is the point? This has been happening way too long, where we've kind of let it get to this point where politicians just give you scraps and you just take it and that's it. Like, no, like people are on the brink of disaster right now, and the time is absolutely necessary for actions like this, because you cannot wait 2 years from now to vote a couple more people in, especially if they're going to follow the same line as the squad. They're like, oh, we're going to join the squad. Oh, yeah. Why? Why would I want you to join the squad if this is what the squad does? Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't want you in there. What's the point of having you in there? Oh, well, when there's more of us, then we're going to change. No, you're not. The Democratic Party changes you. It has. This is literal proof of that. This is a literal proof of all the people bashing and saying, oh, how you're being what is it? You're being divisive. You're being divisive. This is not a good thing to say. When I was like, well, I'm sorry, I'm not supporting any other people as Democrats. Well, this is what you get when you support people as Democrats. All these wonderful progressives, all of them, not a single one has said anything about Pelosi and Medicare for all. Not a single one has gone after her. I don't expect them to. Once Cori Bush and all these people get into office, I don't expect them to. Oh, but you can rail against Jimmy Dore for saying that they're going to be the same thing. Why wouldn't they be the same thing? All I'm seeing is the same shit. Why? Because the Democratic Party is so corrupt and infested that we're not going to be able to change it, and any sort of attempt to reform it is futile, and it's detrimental to actual progress. Period. Yeah. I mean, that's just it. Here it is, right in front of you on display. Yep. I don't know what else to say.
Did you want to read any of these tweets here? Let's get to the next part then, because it's more of the same.
Yeah, that's more of the same.
Let's check so that's it for the AOC thing, whatnot. Yeah. Johnny, you have any opinions about this? No opinions about AOC? The Yas Queen, Let me check. I get this real quick. Take this off.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for joining us today on this Saturday. There we are. Pearl Center. Read Lenin and you won't be confused anymore about bourgeois politics. Thank you so much for the super chat contribution. We really do appreciate it. Guys, hit the button, hit the like button, share.
But you know what the problem is? They've taken bits and pieces of socialism with DSA, with like the Jacobin left, with like all these people. But they have westernized it and made it this brand of socialism that's not even socialism. It's like liberal. It's I'm calling it rad libs right now. Radical libs, rad libs, because that's basically what it is. It's like, we're radicals. We're going to share memes of communism and socialism. But when it comes down to walk the walk, we're really not there. And that's what it is. It's rad liberalism. And like, it's these people who just have made it like so trendy to be socialist, but they're not even pushing those ideas on the ground. They're too busy sucking up to the Democratic establishment.
Yeah.
And what's the
They
use?
all think it's all like cool to be like the socialists and the
it's just-
communists and whatnot, and they don't understand the important parts of it, whatnot, and too. And
they're not really doing it, though, Pasta,
I
is
know.
what I'm
It's
saying.
that, I agree. It's just so stupid. Steve Wilbrand, thank you for the super chat contribution. Says Nina, as the leader of the squad, could be a shot caller. Only 4-seat majority. Give Nina a chance. Steve, no. I'm done giving the Democratic Party a chance. She's not going to change anything. She's not going to make them do anything. Why would they? Everything that they're being told to do right now, or they're being forced to do right now, or they're being cornered to do with the Dore referendum and people calling them out, they could have done this anytime they wanted to. They know this. The squad could have set a standalone bill for rent forgiveness and say, put this up on the floor, Nancy Pelosi. Otherwise, we're going to have a press conference every single day until you put it on the floor and put it up for a vote.
Right.
And therefore, they could have done this at any
They could have
time.
done any kinds of direct action.
No.
And they haven't. So
Done with the Democratic.
Look,
There's no chances left of the Democratic
best
Party.
of luck to Nina Turner. I hope she gets somewhere. But what I am saying is the Democratic Party is dead to me personally.
Yes.
I'm done. They're not going to change. As hard, as amazing as you think one person might be, it's systemic is the issue. You cannot just it'd be like saying by electing this one cop, we're going to change the whole police system. That is how infested the Democratic Party is. By changing the one sheriff, we're going to fix everything. Yeah. No, that's not how it is. And further, again, we're seeing how the Democratic Party, let's say AOC and Squad and all of them have the best interests. They're just scared. Let's just say for the purposes of the argument, they're just scared and they really are afraid of losing any sort of power, and they don't want to do it because of that. Let's say they mean well. Let's just say for the purpose of that. So what's gonna do one more Nina Turner? Let's say 2 more people get in there that are progressive. How is that any different? How is that going to impact whether you bring this to a floor vote or not? It's not, because you're not going to get the numbers in the next 10 years. It's just not going to happen. And we don't have 10 years, people. You cannot vote your way out of this stuff.
It's about it being an independent in my mind too as well, because I'll tell you this much right now, and I'll say this on the record. If Tulsi ran as a Democrat, I'm not supporting her. I'm not supporting the Democratic Party. Yeah. It's infested to the root. I mean, the State Department, the intelligence community, they have all their meat hooks into it, controlled by corporations. You can't get away from it. You don't change the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party changes you.
And for the record, I don't support either party. So I wouldn't support a Republican, and I wouldn't support a Democrat. And I'm telling you, because it's the 2-party system is a sham. It's really just the oligarchy we're fighting.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We got a $2 tip from Glory Jones over on the Rokfin.
Hey, how's Gavin Mick?
Yeah, these progressive punk asses ain't shit. And I'm not having the time to deal with that. Isn't divisive or eating our own, which is a charge I often see lobbied at us black and brown people anyways.
Ooh, yeah, trust me, I've been getting a lot of it, Glory. On the Boomer book, on the Facebook. There's so many rad lips there. I'm going to bring that up at the white guy meeting. I'm going to tell them that, Glory Jones. You're right. Please bring it up at the white guy meeting.
Hey, real quick. I do have a comment on the AOC thing.
Oh, look at that.
So here, Comrade Misty, she says, if the CARES Act wasn't enough to get you to see what fraud Sanders and the squad types are, I truly hope them doing little more than tweet while Pelosi fucks you over again will do it, because we really need you to snap the fuck out of it. These people are not your friends. And someone said, is this one of those accounts that thinks AOC and Bernie are puppet masters who have any real control? They didn't write the CARES Act. All they could do was vote yes or no. And then that's when I said that's all they could do. AOC has 10.7 million followers last time I checked, 10.8 now.
Yeah.
And Bernie has 13.9 million followers on Twitter. They both have access to big TV outlets and YouTube. They can use all this reach to directly tell people a location to meet them to protest. They must know that they can do this, but they're not. Yeah. Why not? Why aren't they doing it? Jimmy Dore liked my tweet, and I just wanted to let you know this was before the AOC thing that happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They have a lot of leverage. I looked up Nancy Pelosi. She's only got 6 million followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But she's got access to the networks. But what I'm saying is that, AOC or Bernie can go on national TV.
And it's not just them. It's Ilhan. It's Rashida. It's all these people, the whole team, the whole squad.
Exactly. They can go and gather people to protest wherever the fuck they want. wherever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Do they have to worry about anything when
No.
they do that? No.
Nope.
They can't what can they do?
No. They could have had a real general strike if they wanted to. They could have really had, if they were
Yeah.
all communists, socialists, whatever, they could have shut it down. Workers' rights, let's go. And that was the thing, like we talk about Bernie in 2016. He was all about workers, and people across the board were paying so much attention to him until he became a party insider and like everything they say is bad and just kind of split all the forces. But Johnny just put it out. Look at those followers alone. You can get in the street tomorrow and people will be behind you and you can shut stuff down. We could have gotten whatever we wanted. This was time for a labor strike where Bernie was rooted in labor and he could have directed the rest of them with him and brought everybody there and they could have shut shit down until we got what we wanted. And at least during a pandemic we get Medicare for all. At least during a pandemic, but they can't even give you that.
And Bernie Sanders is going on the Senate floor and speaking out against the stimulus and how bad it is, but he already voted for the CARES Act. He's already endorsed and campaigned for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
He already did all these things. It's like, well, now, yes, the stimulus is shitty, but you're not saying anything against Nancy Pelosi. You're only saying the Republicans are Republicans, which, yeah, they're at fault too for a shitty stimulus. But let's not forget that Nancy Pelosi played politics with the stimulus. Let's not forget that. And he's not calling her out either.
Yeah, she did.
That's why it's like, well.
She played politics with your lives. With your lives, she played politics because she didn't want to give him a victory before the friggin' election. So, therefore, you suffered, chump, at home. You get nothing.
Yep.